So it is time for some book news. And to kind of get us started, Penguin Publishing House is going to be opening 90 little book stops all across the UK. If you guys didn't know, Penguin is celebrating its 90th birthday on July 30th. And they're going to be opening all of these 9 little book stops, which are normally exchange spots in neighborhoods where you can kind of borrow a whole bunch of little free books around your neighborhood, which is pretty cool. I don't know if you knew this, but the very first one ever was installed in Wisconsin, and it was called the Free Little Library in 2009. And right now, there's over 200,000 all across the world.
I have one in my neighborhood that I've taken a picture of where someone has installed, they had a custom-built bench installed next to it, and it has a lighted setup inside. Like, it's the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen. And there's a little QR code where you can go on and request books. I think this is the coolest thing. And I'm going to talk about Penguin later on in one of the books that I recommend to you, but they're fucking cool. They're a great publisher. I don't know anything about publishing. Some authors out there was like, I don't know. But like in my experience, Penguin is cool.
I just thought it was so great, and like, what a better way to contribute, because it does take a little bit of money. So like if you can kind of set it up in like some of the neighborhoods that might not have them, it's just going to be a nice little resource for their community. My favorite one in my neighborhood, which we have quite a bit in my neighborhood, is kind of nice. But we have one that is only children books, like specific. Cool. And it is the most adorable thing. Like they had the kids in the neighborhood come painted and decorated. And I don't know, it's just such a nice like community building moment. And I'm so happy.
Plus it lets you like judge your neighbors to be like, what are you reading?
Exactly. Yeah.
How many Dan Brown books are in here? I'm sorry, I hiccuped.
What do you have for us?
Okay. Our next one is about a little reading renaissance in your hometown. Okay, so Houston has, in the past 6 months, opened 4 new indie bookstores. There's Moss Rose, a romance-only bookstore, had over 1,000 shoppers on its inaugural day. And I'm really loving, it's kind of crazy, the number of romance-focused bookstores. It just really tells you that was like a truly untapped market. I feel like the Ripped Bodice really was the blueprint for this. We have Flutter here in Austin, which is a beautiful romance bookstore. I'm so into this.
It just makes me so happy. Again, it goes back to like how men most of the time undermine the women economy. This is what we want, and we contribute a lot of money into this. So I'm so happy that a lot of romance readers are getting their time in the spotlight, because it's so exciting.
People want it.
Yes, this is what people want to read. It's exciting. It is a real literature form. It's not just like, oh, my little romance book. No, this is needed because we carry so many things in our brains and in our day-to-day lives that this is our nice little escape.
I love that. Plus, it's not just smut. I think that's the other thing is like people just think it's like all sex. My husband always asks that, like, oh, is those fairy porn books? And it's like there's a lot of more nuance. A lot of these have war and politics and I mean, interpersonal relationships are one of the most important things in the world. I want to be like, of all of the things to read about, why would intimacy not be one of the most important?
It's an essential part of real life, of everyday life.
It's a wild choice. Okay, can I say another fun fact?
Yes.
Because you have it written here, and I think it's really important, especially coming off of our last week's episode, which was about the Texas book trail. Here is why I feel like the indie bookstore market is where it's at. 30% of the revenue collected by indie bookstores stays in the local community, twice that of another big box store, and 4 times as much as Shmamashwan, our future overlord. So I feel like the impact is so immediate. It's incredible.
Yeah, it just makes me so happy and just kind of highlights the importance of shopping with your local community. Go meet people, go hang out and support them.
Yeah, you get to meet people. That's the other thing.
It's the best.
I know.
It's the best.
What do you have next for us?
Okay, so I don't know if you read this, but I read it last year. The Husbands by Holly Gramazio is getting a TV adaptation. It's going to be done by Apple TV Plus, and in partnership with A24. It's going to be an 8-episode series, and Juno Temple from Ted Lasso, who plays Keely, is going to be playing Lauren, who gets a new husband every time they come back from the attic. It's a really fun premise. In my opinion, I think the book kind of got a little bit lost in the middle of it and didn't know how to like tie up the story. But the premise of it's so cool and it's so different. So I'm excited for the show.
I love Juno Temple too.
She's great.
She is just, I don't know, so charming.
I love her. Me too.
Okay, our last thing isn't really even news. I feel like it's very much stretching the bounds of what constitutes news, but I had to bring it up because I thought it was so funny. I found this article online that Otessa Moshfegh, who I talked about in our Characters That Need Therapy episode, who wrote My Year of Rest and Relaxation, and Eileen, hosted an auction with Eddie Wong, the author of Fresh Off the Boat, a memoir, in New York City. The auction took place at April 1st in New York's The Golden Unicorn, which is a Chinatown restaurant. And they just auctioned off random shit they owned. Toothbrushes. Moshfegh auctioned off things like 2 hours of writing therapy over Zoom, a lunch at the Russian Tea Room, and martinis at Hotel Chelsea. Reporters said that the author spent time sharing personal stories about the items being auctioned. Laura Pitcher of Days wrote, if the auction items weren't enough of a clue that it was about to be a chaotic evening, Moshfegh and Wong's 10-minute poo conversation before the bidding started was a dead giveaway. I won't subject you to a full breakdown, so I'll summarize. Wong needs gluten-free tamari sauce because he has IBS. Moshfegh says she's jealous of diarrhea because, in her words, she cannot shit to save her life, hence the laxatives that she also had for sale. When someone from the crowd asked where the money goes, Moshfegh said, in our pockets.
Oh my God. You know what? I kind of respect that, honestly.
I do too. Me too.
Respect that. Because that was going to be my next question that I was going to ask you is like, oh, well, were they raising money for like a special cause or something? But they're like, no, it's for us.
They're kind of like, if you've read any of her books too, she's kind of like a cool kid. Like the people in her books are very unlikable. I've talked about this before, aggressively so, but they like just don't give a shit about it. Like the branding makes so much sense to me and it really made me laugh.
I mean, it's just so unapologetically
annoying,
crazy
yeah,
themselves.
It's chaotic. I love it.
I don't know. That's kind of crazy, but
yeah.
You know what? Respect. I liked how transparent they were about it. And also, who's going to buy a used toothbrush? Like, what kind of sicko person does that?
I don't know, but I feel like it's performance art. I feel like it's so funny. Anyway.
Oh, gosh, that's fun. All right. Anything else?
No, that's all for book news.